Thanks for clicking on to PressBoxOnline.com for this online extra. And we're talking with Todd Harris, one of the producers of Crooked Arrows, which opens around the country May 18th. Todd, tell us a little bit about lacrosse. It's an incredible passion the fans have for it now. How did that translate into the money to make this movie?
Well, again, it was, 2009 was not a great time to be raising money, but the lacrosse community is, as we know, very passionate, and a lot of them have nice jobs in New York and in Boston and in Philadelphia, and a lot of them have, it's a very tight-knit community. I mean, there's certain companies where I think on Wall Street where if you played lacrosse, you have a better chance of getting a job there. So we knew that there was a passion for it. What we did at first is we reached out to our initial contacts in the lacrosse community. We started by going to the lacrosse convention in 2009. In Baltimore, and there might have been a president being inaugurated down the street, but you couldn't tell at the lacrosse convention because it was 5,000 rabid people. And so what we did is we put together a presentation for people in lacrosse and said, look, we have a lovely script. It pays homage to the history of the sport, both the Native American and the whole tradition of the sport. And don't you think it's a good idea? So what we did is we literally got people like Lars Tiffany and John Desko finally, and Dom Starja, and Coach Mike Messier, who we met last night in Syracuse at the premiere up in Syracuse. A lot of them basically said, yeah, it's a great idea. I support it. You have my endorsement. Still, it was a long, slow process. It's, cracking the inner core of people in lacrosse, because I think that they were, we weren't total lacrosse insiders. So that was the process of getting, people, whether they were athletes or former athletes, or, we've met with everybody from Jim Brown to the former coaches at Syracuse who were Roy Simmons Jr. Yeah, they've been super helpful. What really helped us was that we had a gentleman named Jeff McCormick, class of '83, Syracuse, All-America, captain of his team. They won the national championship that year. And when he met us, he said to us, I love this idea. I've been thinking about making a movie like this all my life. And he really got us out of, we were playing from our 5 or 10 yard line. And he's the one who basically got us to midfield and said, okay, I'm going to put all my resources, financial and connections, into making this happen. And that really broke the dam. And I think nobody wants to be first into the pool. Everybody wants to know that somebody else they respect is doing the deal already. So that's why having Jeff McCormick was so important to us. And then gradually it really spread out. We have over 50 investors in this movie, and the most recent investors are the Onondaga Nation. So, Jeff got us out of, that hole on our 1 or 5 yard line. It's the Onondaga who took us from the red zone into the end zone.
Tell me one thing about this movie. You were not a lacrosse freak when you started it. The game has a beauty to it. Does it come across on the screen?
It does. It's not an easy sport to film. You wonder why basketball movies work so well. Let me tell you, the ball is big and orange, okay? Nobody's wearing a face mask, okay? Nobody's wearing pads. It's easy to see the guys who are playing the sport, and it's very contained. Lacrosse is a big, wide field. It's a huge field. Guys are wearing helmets, and the ball is tiny and white. So it is a very tricky sport to shoot. I think when you see Crooked Arrows, you'll actually find yourself on the field, in the action. There'll be some wider shots, but sometimes watching lacrosse on TV isn't as easy because we make it so that you feel like the balls are going to hit you. And I think that's exciting, and I don't think lacrosse has ever been shot like that before.
It's Todd Harris, one of the producers of Crooked Arrows. It opens around the country May 18th. Thanks for clicking on to PressBox Online.